Why do humans choose evil? Guys, we're finally answering the question. And I think this is the official last video of this ongoing 6-month series. That's insane. I've done a whole bunch of videos today, catch up with those. I took a little break before I did this one. And I just wanted to finish out, why do humans choose evil? Like, by the way, guys, I want to just tell you this now. It has been a roller coaster ever since I asked God this question, because I was like, God, like, give me something to think about. Because, like, obviously, evidently, you're not sending me the coordinates to the promised land. So there. You're not sending me the coordinates to where the underground tunnels are, where they're keeping the kids. So give me something. And so I was just like asking, surely we can at least address this question. And let me tell you, boy, did he deliver. Because I feel like every single thing that's happened since from then until now, everything has given me more and more examples of just like the truth about humans, like in my actual experiences, even the things people have admitted to me, like in the last, since I started, the things people have told me they've been through. I'm like it really truly showed me that it's really not a safe space. I know I was joking. I say, guys, this is a safe space. Of course it's not a safe space, because it's not. And I realized, that people really are going through things, because I be having people telling me stuff, and I'm like, and especially in these last like 6 months or so, I've literally heard the most heinous things that people went through, and all of them are like when people were children, especially. And it's not just your like, I don't know, it's like, like the difference between hearing that Jeffrey Epstein was like getting weird massages from 15-year-old girls versus knowing he wanted to be to enjoy the sucking of a baby that was still attached to the mother, because they suck better when the placenta is still attached. That was like the degree of drop I went through, like in terms of stories people had told me personally in the last 6 months. I went from like, oh, at 15 I had to do these weird massages and whatever, to hearing stories of that degree of degeneracy. And that's what brought me to the very simple conclusion that, why do humans do evil? Because where there is no God, there is always evil. The world functions on evil. The world is evil. The world is evil. To succeed in this life, in this world, you must do evil. That's how it works. So when everybody's trying, this is why, for people who are not in the body of Christ, obviously this is why I think God has his own sections. He's like, meet my people, we're going to be over here, we're going to be here, we're going to be in the garden, we're going to be in the promised land, we're going to be over there, because whatever they're doing out there, we can't participate, because that's evil, and this is good here. This is good and godly. And so when people of the world try to do good without God, that's why it fails. The reason why a lot of people are failing or are losing in life, and again, guys, I'm not judging people on losing and winning, because I feel like both are a choice, and it's as simple as that. Like I said, I'm not saying it's just a choice, but you have to face up to the reality. And so for me, the way I look at it, it's like, you don't get to win without God. You don't. Unless your wins, if you want to win without God, you have to delve into evil. That's the only option. That's the conclusion I've come to, because of everything I've been saying so far. But more so, like I've said to you guys, the most basic things of, we all have opportunities in life where you meet a good person and you have the choice. Am I going to take advantage of you, or am I going to like actually respect you? This is one of the things I have wrong with this concept of boundaries, is I don't need to, obviously we all communicate our boundaries and we need to do that because we're all different, but I don't want to take advantage of anybody anyway. So this whole idea that I have to go around telling everybody, like, and going and fighting all this to maintain all these boundaries to make sure I'm not taking advantage of, it's like, why does anybody want to take advantage of anyone? I don't want to take advantage of somebody. Of course I can. I'm all the time, I'm being given, opportunities where I could just like take advantage of people, or they're offering me more than they should, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't need to be told. I don't need they don't need to put up a billion boundaries for me not to take advantage of them. So why am I expected in this world to have a billion boundaries not to be taken advantage of? All that tells me is that people are going to automatically take advantage of you, and that's the reality of the world I live in. This is what I'm trying to say. It's the same thing when it comes to like all this. There's so much work you have to do in life to like defend yourself, speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself. You know what? You can advocate for others. You know what? You can be empathetic. It's not that difficult to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You know, like if you see somebody going through something, just imagine what that would be like to you. You know, the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's very simple It's very simple to love others. You love others, like whatever you feel like you deserve, you give that to other people. Simple. Isn't that funny that the Bible literally says that? So the world overcomplicates everything. But we're like, why is there not enough food in this? Because there's greedy people. Because there's greed. Because when we have things, even all of us, right? When we have things, you don't go in your wardrobe and go, oh, I've got 5 coats. I'm going to go and give the other 4 to a homeless person or somebody in need. You don't go, oh, I've got enough food for the week. You have food rotting in your fridge. You have food rotting at your house. You have money coming out of your bank account you can't even account for because you forgot about this direct debit, that direct debit, the gym membership you signed up for, money that could be used to do something. And that's just at the basic level. And at the highest level, right, we knowingly know that we participate. So I'm saying we, as humans, we love to always just take away accountability, like, oh, these billionaires. I don't want to hear nothing about them. I don't want to hear nothing about anybody famous or rich, whether they be in the world or whether they be in the church, the pastors, preachers, priests, and all that. Because we give them the platforms. You go to their churches, you give money in their offerings, you show up, you listen to their stuff. When it comes to the big pharma, big tech, you're the one who buys every single new iPhone. You're the one who goes to the supermarket and buys all the food. You're the one who goes and pays tickets to go see these concerts. You're the one who spends your time watching all these Netflix shows. You with your money and your free will. You're the one who wakes up every day and goes to work for JP Morgan Chase and goes to work for flipping GlaxoSmithKline and all these big businesses. You do that. And the simple fact that we always have a way of waiting for somebody else and hoping somebody else does in itself is proof of exactly what I'm saying. We always want to be selfish ourselves and we want to benefit of somebody else doing something. This is why the whole question of if God is good, why is he allowing this? If you're here, why are you allowing this? If God gave us dominion, he said, go and make of this world whatever you want to make of it. Go and do whatever you want to do. And then we still accuse him somehow of being the one enslaving us. We still accuse him somehow of being the one putting us, like telling us, giving us all these rules and trying to it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make absolutely any sense at all. And that's what I've come to realize. It's the evilness. We don't have love here. Love don't live here. Love here is selfish. It's transactional. I do this because of what I get. This is why I even made a video, I think it was yesterday, explaining how doing something because blessing somebody just to be blessed is selfish. If you're doing something just because of what you're going to get out of it, that's selfish. You're just basically making an investment. You're not doing something out of the kindness of your heart. Even if you do something just because you like to be seen, to be like, of course, this is one of the reasons I don't cook for people, guys. Because I love cooking. I really do. And I really love it. Like, it's one of my genuine favorite things. And I would cook like 5 times a day if I could. I would cook every couple of hours. So I always have ideas. And if there's hungry people, I love being around people who are hungry because it means I get to cook all the time. But the thing is why I don't want to do that. I don't want it to become some Mother Teresa thing where I'm just like the one who loves to feed everyone and I'm seen as some goody. Yes, I am cooking for you because I care about you. I also am cooking because I love to do it. And I like to see the people around me happy, but I don't want to get some kind of like acknowledgement or some kind of, I don't want to be called like, oh, you're a good woman because no, I'm not a good woman. I'm not a good woman. I'm actually not at all good, and me is not in the same sentence. I do good things sometimes, but I also do bad things. You know what I mean? I've blessed a lot of people. I've also hurt a lot of people. You know, I might have been somewhat of a hero in a lot of people's story, but I've also definitely been a villain. Like, I don't deserve that. Nor do I want it, because it's very empty anyway. Because I said to you guys, people are fickle. One day you're the hero and tomorrow you're the villain. So it doesn't really matter to me anyway, but just to say that, like, a lot of people do things because of what they get out of it, and and again, that's inherently selfish. Like, if you really, realistically speaking, if you, what you do is really that, like, from the heart, no one really needs to know about it. Like, that's one thing I keep saying about the Sidemen that I respect about them, is that a lot of the actual charity work and stuff they do, they don't talk about it. All you'll see them for on social media is them making dumb videos. Like, you won't see them when they go to, all the different charity things they're involved in, other than the charity match, which of course they want to bring attention and money. But like, they're not out there. Like, and this is what I'm saying again, when it comes to even the body of Christ, is like, people, I've realized, you know what, I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm going to be 100% real. Throughout my life, I've always thought about this word love, right? Because this is why I got this verse tattooed on my neck, right? 1 John 3:18, little children, let us love, not just in word, but in deed and in truth, right? That scripture encapsulates everything I'm trying to say about why evil exists. Love requires work, action, right? And it has to come from a place of truth. That's why I love the scriptures, because I love that doing the thing isn't just enough, according to the Lord, right? Doing the thing isn't just enough. You have to do it from the right place, right? In order for it to count as love. And we live in a world where people do things, and you want to do things because you want to be seen to be good, or you want to feel good, or you want to look good. But the truth of what you're doing, it inherently is selfish, and selfishness is evil. Selfishness is evil because, let me tell you, Adam and Eve is a simple example. Eve selfishly ate that fruit, right? Because God had said, if you eat from this fruit, you shall surely die. So even if she said, let's just say alone that only she was going to die, then Adam was now no longer had Eve. Also, we no longer were going to have a future. As how are we going to procreate? Obviously, God could have created another Eve, but you know what I mean? Not to mention the selfishness of then saying, I'm going to do something I know we're not supposed to do, and I'm going to then go and get and engage with this man with me in this behavior, is again selfish. Because again, she looked at the fruit, she thought it was good to the eyes. Let's read the scripture. Hold on. Let me grab my Bible. So it says here, right? Genesis, what's it called? Genesis 3, verse 6. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food, pleasing to the eye, and desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. This is what I'm saying. It was good for food, it was pleasing to the eye, and desirable for gaining wisdom. She took it and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. So maybe in this moment, again, Adam selfishly didn't want to go against this woman he now has, right? So even he's behaving selfishly also, because if he was really doing the right thing by God, he would have been like, I can't partake in that, you've ruined this, like, whatever, I don't know. But he did. And Eve did this because she thought it was good for food, it looks pleasing to the eye, and it's good for wisdom, what she could gain. You know something, guys? I have fought tooth and nail, and you guys have seen me cry, you've seen me crash out, you've seen me say everything the last few years in my issue with human relationships. And all along, I thought I was the problem, because that's what society tells you. If you have this and this, that's because this. But I realized it's society that's actually the problem. It's actually the society and the world itself. It's the standard of love that exists here. We have such a lazy version of love, because love is very transactional in these days. And I'm talking about in all ways, in all relationships, right? You're always justified to do what's right for you, right? And whatever somebody else is asking, you're always justified to say that it's too much to ask and that they should go somewhere else. But then we want to call ourselves loving, when literally the love that we all learned from God was a sacrificial love that is actually can be uncomfortable. As in, sometimes you have to, like, this is why I don't like getting into conversations with people. That's why I love spending time with God. And those of you who are close to the Lord are going to know what I'm talking about. Where it's like, when I talk to God, I can just be honest, because he's not immediately gonna assume I'm trying to say something against him, or I'm judging him, or I'm trying to make him look a certain way, because he's not so self-absorbed in himself selfishly. He can just hear me. If I say, God, I'm not really happy about that, he doesn't take it personally. He's not easily offended. He doesn't assume the worst about me or try to think that I'm saying I'm trying to whatever. He doesn't assume just because I'm disagreeing that I'm trying to be divisive or start an argument. These are things that I face with humans, and I realize it's because everybody's so defensive because they want to defend themselves, because themselves comes first, and themselves is what matters. Like, this is why I find it fascinating how so many people want to be in a romantic relationship but are so deeply selfish. You've thought everything about what you want in a woman. You've thought everything about what you want in a man, and you've never thought about what you bring to the table. And I'm not talking about what the world talk about bring to the table. I'm talking about your character as a person. Are you even pleasant to be around? Do you even have the patience? Have you ever thought about what it's like to actually spend a lot of time around a woman, or have spend a lot of time around a man? No, you haven't. You've thought about the things you want to get out of it. And then when you don't get exactly what you want to get, like, this is why we have people having AI relationships now. It's the same with friendship and stuff these days. There's all these rules and regulations of how friendships are supposed to work. This is okay, but that's not. That's okay, but this is not. This is whatever, but that's not. What the hell? Like, it's the little things that bother me about being of these kinds of situations. Like, I'll give you one perfect example. It's like going out for a meal, right? Listen, I will just freaking pay for everybody. I'd rather just pay for everyone, because all this nonsense of like, well, you ordered 3 drinks and I ordered 8 drinks. It's like, oh, do we want to be around each other? Oh, are we worth it? Are we of enough value of each other together that it's worth being here? Or are you just here to what are you here for? I don't freaking care. These are the types of conversations, guys, I'm not participating in. And this is what I'm saying. Again, it's selfishness. It's selfishness. And then it becomes people then build up all this resentment because they did this or they didn't do that. I don't be overthinking things like that, you guys. I do things out of my heart. If I want to do it, I want to do it. If I don't, I don't. I don't be overthinking it. I don't be whatever. Whatever it is what it is. But what I will say is I will also take seasons for what they are. As in, I have noticed in life, as I said to you, people love to be there when there's so much to take from you, but nobody's there when you have nothing. And that tells you a lot. It means that they weren't there for you. They were there for what they got from you. And so when I look at the likes of the Epsteins and the Diddies and the billionaires of the world and the mega pastors, they're just the people who did it really well. They're the people who understood really well that, hey, I'm going to try and offer these things. Why did Epstein get away with things, or did he, or all these people? They're all promising people something that they selfishly want. I want to be on the Vogue. I want to walk on the New York Fashion Week, and Jeffrey Epstein gave me a chance to walk with what's it called, Donatella Versace for New York Fashion Week. So yeah, I'm going to turn a blind eye. You see the selfishness again. Even the victims are also getting guilty in that aspect of, you were prepared to know what you're involved in, not say anything for the sake of you get to walk Donatella Versace in New York Fashion Week. You get to turn a blind eye to what Diddy's doing. You know why? Because you get to do a worldwide tour with a record label, with whatever his freaking label is called. That's why you turn a blind eye. And all the other people involved, they all turned a blind eye. You know why? Because they are getting paid off and they just want to focus on themselves. The reason why I'm so passionate about this stuff to do with the children, you guys, is because I realize they're the people that are the ones who, at the end of this whole thing of selfishness, who we all find an excuse not to care about. Even when we talk about these stories of these billionaires and all, no one's ever talking about the kids. It's always who was on this list, who was on that list, the government, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, freaking Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin. It's the flipping pastors, Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, whatever, right? It's all these big people. No one's ever actually talking about the victims. Everyone's invested in the story because, again, selfishly, you love a story. You love a gossip. We love a gossip in the world. We love drama. We don't care about the actual souls involved. We don't care about the actual people. We care about the drama. Oh my gosh, can you believe? I can't believe so-and-so got caught with this. I can't believe this. Oh my gosh, Beyonce, Jay-Z. And every time I ask the question, what about the children? Where are the children? What about the children? Ain't nobody got an answer. And we look at who isn't still here with us. Michael Jackson, Princess Diana, Whitney Houston, Amy Winehouse, right? In those aspects. We look at those people. Jesus, who was killed, at the age of only 33. All these people who died. The people that are seen as crazy or not being okay. And then we want to circle back now and be like, oh, actually, they might know what they're talking about. And then you have in this world, Kris Jenner. I will never give up my actual disdain for this woman, seen as a loving mother after prostituting her own daughter, playing executive producer and director on her daughter's sex tape for the sake of wealth, after being cheating on all these different men and going to whichever man had the biggest bank account. She's the OG gold digger. She ain't messing with no broke niggas. She was the OG gold digger of all time, always the most selfish woman. And look at the state of affairs. Look at the state. Look where she is. She is a billionaire. She's looking younger than me at this point. She's rich because that's the world. The world favors that. The world loves chaos. We as humans, we love it. The only thing that takes us away from that is God. She's doing that with Kris. I remember the second thing I was telling you guys about, there was one time where there was an argument. I think it was between, I don't know if it was between Rob, as in the father Rob Kardashian, or whether it was Bruce before it became Caitlyn. But one of the two men was having an argument with Kris because she was being violent towards Kim. Then Kim ends up going and doing a shoot where Kim was promised not to have to be naked, right? But then her mom was like, well, you need to get naked. She's literally prostituted her daughters. And then people go, oh my gosh, we're so sorry for her kid. Kris is such a loving mother. Look at her being a grandma. We saw Stormy at their St. Patrick's Day, celebration. And you could just tell how much she loves her kids. And then Kris sits there. She's like, everything I do, it's for my family. I just love my kids. You love money. You love yourself. You selfish witch. And you get away with this, right? Because the whole entire world is going to get behind that. Same with Ariana Grande. She's always saying oh my gosh, yeah, Cynthia, we're just and I'm so glad to be in Wicked. And Glinda was always a character I wanted to play. And da-da-da-da-da. How many people has she cheated on? How many, you've had one of her guys has died. We now have, what's his name? That she used to be with, who's now with Jhené Aiko. Oh, what's his name? Big Sean, who can't commit to Jhené Aiko. It's been 10 years and I'm pretty sure bro was bruised by falling deeply in love with Ariana Grande, and now he doesn't want to try it again because he lost her. Every guy and every person she's with, even Cynthia Erivo's most recent girlfriend, who she left she left and then was in whatever that thing was we called for Ariana, and Cynthia was like, yeah, Ariana just used Cynthia. She's moved on. See, she is literally speed running people. She takes them and uses them. She does all lovey-dovey little innocent, oh my gosh, or whatever, just to screw off and then go on to, and no one bats an eyelid just because she plays the little cutie cute. This is why some of us don't want to play the little cutie cute girl. This is why when people are like, oh, you could dress, you do. No, I don't want to be seen as that, because you guys just fall for somebody who's good at putting on a performance because you guys love that. And then you support that. You don't support what's real. You support what's fake. You're like, this is what we do. This is what we do in the world. I'm saying this is the world we're living in. It's not. This is where we are. This is. I'm so sorry. And again, I get so bewildered. Holy Spirit, please be with us, right? I get so bewildered watching these old videos of church services from when I wasn't there, with these pastors who, when I saw them, I knew that they were sketchy from when I was a kid. So again, when I was a kid and I'm being critiqued, all this, that, and the, I'm thinking something's off about so-and-so. I never felt compelled to listen to their messages. And I'm the kind of person, you guys, I've told you, when I know somebody, when I feel like I feel the Spirit of God, I will be glued in for hours. When I've been to good church services, I'm always disappointed it's ended too soon. I'm disappointed that the praise and worship ended too soon. I'm disappointed that the sermon ended too soon. I'm on the edge of my seat, literally this is gold, so my attention span, I will sit there and I'm I've watched a 4-hour sermon by myself at home taking notes. My hand is hurting and I'm still disappointed when it comes to an end, so when I've seen people's fakes and phonies, but these are the ones who again are famous. It's the fakes and phonies are famous. When I look at the people of God who I listen to, a lot of them have reasonable platforms, you know what I mean, but they're not the ones with 100 million, whatevers, and have been whatevers with these big, huge churches. It's never that. It's never those. It's always people who it's almost we're an underground scene. If you those of us who I see in the remnant, even with you guys, if you think about it, we're the underground scene, the world scene that supports even the Christian community is these weirdos. And then they come out with all these stories. I was here at Assemblies of God when I was just a baby, when I was a kid, and my parents used to go there, and I'm finding out as an adult, a lot of people went to Assemblies of God. I remember even Adrian Bailone talking about how she used to go there. Adrian, she's one of the cheat girls, and she was in, what's that girl group called? They were a bit slightly before my time. I can't remember the name of them, but she was in a girl group as well. And now she's married to Israel Houghton, which by the way was one of the coolest things ever, because I used to watch Asian, like mainly through Disney Channel. She was one of the Cheetah Girls. The Cheetah Girls is my favorite. And then Israel Houghton, I used to obviously grew up listening to his music because my parents used to play his music all the time. And so when those two decided to get married, I was like, this is a marriage that I feel like was gifted to me. And then when during COVID, they did a whole worship series. It's called Feels Like Home. And they had all of New Breed in their house, and they were all singing worship. And it's like the best thing. I was listening to them actually a few days ago, the New Breed, the Feels Like Home stuff. And it was just incredible. Anyway, and I've seen all of this, like all these churches, there's all these people who are, anybody who's winning it as far as the world is concerned, the only place where you are like thriving as a true loving godly believer is when you're in the place that God has set apart, which again, holy means set apart. I was listening to Marcus Rogers yesterday, and he was talking again. He said and he said, I think it was the scriptures, like if you love the world, then God is not within you, or something like that. It was something deeper, because I've always said to you guys, you can't love God and love the world. Like if you love God, you hate the world, and vice versa. But he was like, if you love the world, the love of God is not within you, or something like that. Like you can't be comfortable in the world. And I was so encouraged listening to what he was saying, because he had got to a point where he was just like with me, and I hadn't listened to one of his messages in a long time. He was like with me, just calling out saying, you know what? This person, not a Christian. That person, not a Christian. Like not even bothering to try and like pussyfoot around the, oh, well, maybe. No. If you're this comfortable, and that's what his whole video was about people like in the body who just seem too comfortable with sin, and with like, not even with sin so far. Let's not put sin with the world, because we're all going to be somewhat comfortable with sin, because our flesh is going to be, but comfortable in the world, like comfortable. The clearest sign that you know your that the Lord is dwelling within you is that you actually don't feel comfortable with how some of the things you do, or a lot of the things you do, and that you're feeling convicted. That's a good place to be. It doesn't mean you're going to fix it all overnight. That's not going to happen. I guarantee that. But it's a good sign. A lot of people, when you get to the point where you're justifying, because that's what he was talking about, people justifying, like how TD Jakes said, oh, his feelings on homosexuality have changed over the thing and whatever. And every person, again, when they were talking about that topic, we're going there. I guess we're going there. We're going out all guns blazing, right? We're talking about, and this is what kind of ticks me off as well, right? Again, the selfishness of it all. He was his gripe in this particular video was that why are people in the body never comfortable to say what the Bible says, that this is, as far as God is concerned, this is an abomination, right? Because people are like, well, why would you? I have people that I love. I have people. Who said you don't love somebody because you don't agree with what they do? Why are we so simple-minded and sensitive? It's just what I have to say. I'll say what I have to say, and I'll say it with my chest, you guys. Why are we so sensitive that just because you don't agree with something that somebody's doing, or you're saying what the Bible says, that automatically means you hate them and you don't love them? That sounds like you have an insecurity, and maybe you actually feel guilty then. Maybe you feel guilty. Guys, I'm not offended by the presence of any kinds of anybody's anything. I'm still going to tell the truth. That doesn't change how I feel about you. I don't think I'm better or worse than anyone, because what do I know? I'm probably the worst of everybody, in my opinion anyway. Right? Why is it? Because every time these people give examples, again, it goes back to their selfish answers. Well, I know gay people, and I have gay friends, and I have gay family members, which all that tells me is I have selfishly decided that despite the fact I claim to be a member of the body and the belief system that believes in these scriptures, despite the fact that I'm doing that, because I selfishly don't want to rock the boat or address it with God and actually get to a healthy conclusion about this, I'm going to accept it because I want to selfishly maintain and keep the relationships that I currently have. And therefore, I'm choosing myself. So you're being selfish again. This is what I'm saying. It all goes back down to selfishness, because nobody in the Bible said, and that God isn't saying, to hate whatever. He's saying that these things are abominations. Of course he would, because he created men and women to procreate together. So if there's not a man and a woman together, then they can't procreate. He created life to happen. He's a creator of life. Life is what he creates. Yeah, we have science and whatnot that does all of this, right? But we weren't even supposed to have that. That's only because the angels just didn't listen. And then the humans, again, selfishly. So I'm saying the demons, in a partially, I feel for them in a weird way, right? Because I'm like, you know what? They didn't have to exist. But it was the selfishness of the watcher angels and the selfishness of the humans, where the angels looked at the women and were like, they look good, just like Eve, right? That looks good. They look good. Those women that God created look good. Yeah, he created them for us to look good for the men of the world, right? And the women who are like sleeping with them because everyone's like, oh, we can have a business deal here, little gold digger. Again, it's the gold digging, just a different kind of gold, because they're about to give you the blueprint to where to find the gold. We wouldn't even be knowing about gold digging if it wasn't for this whole scenario, potentially. That's the whole point, because it was because of the watcher angels. So then we now go and procreate with these guys selfishly, not thinking about where those offspring are going to go, because God created angels and God created humans, but he didn't create this whatever chimeric thing that it is. So that's why, again, I say to you guys, I have sympathy for Jezebel to an extent, because she's the result of the purest form, the worst form of selfishness, where both of God's created creations came together and put themselves before the will of God, before God's whatever God was doing, and didn't even care what was going to happen. And so that's why we now have demons and disembodied spirits, because they're just flying around because they've got nowhere to go. They got nowhere to go. They can't go back. They can't just, do you know what I mean? They're this new thing that wasn't supposed to be created. It was all a result of what? Everybody's free will. And then the fact that we always want to look to God when things are wrong, but when things are good, we never give him the glory. That's an even further thing. We don't wake up. People don't, like, not enough, right? When things are wrong, oh, why would God allow this? If God is good, how come there's rapists in the world? If you're good, how come you turn your blind eye to rapists? If you're so good, how comes when you know about whatever's going on around you and you heard somebody's story, how come you just turned a blind eye? If you're so good, how comes with all the extra money you have and all the money you spend over consuming and buying another new Easter basket this year and another new, this is why I hate the holidays, another new thing just to overconsume selfishly. But then you want God to step in. You want to say, oh, God, you should have done this. God, you should have done that. God, where were you with this? God, where were you with that? Because you don't want to do it. That's just another evidence of your selfishness. It's another evidence of how selfish you are and how you only care about yourself at the end of the day. And that's what I'm saying is where the evil comes from. Because evil is just selfishness. And it's just the degrees of which selfishness you're prepared to go is how deeply the evilness will go. The evil will go. Even L. Ron Hubbard from Scientology said it himself. He said, oh yeah, we're all supposed to be removing our reactive mind so that we can all just focus on whatever mind, so we can get straight, that you don't second guess why you make decisions, you just do whatever you want, which is a bad idea, because we should question. I should think about how my actions are going to affect others. I should think about that. I should think about my impact on everything. And again, everyone wants to, I'll give you another, I can go example back to back to back. Give you guys another example. Everyone wants to be vegan to protect the animals and protect the planet. Everybody wants to do to look after the animals and reduce and recycle. But you're the same people who I see with Amazon arriving every single day, every day, 8 Amazon boxes. And those Amazon boxes are bringing in things that have come from all over the world, planes that have had to fly with the cargo, boats that are going across the sea, all the emissions. You got every single emission in the book, from the boat to the plane to the car to the everything. You keep over consuming. You don't need all that stuff. It's going to go in the bin, half of it. You're not even going to put it in the right bins. You're not going to go out of your way to properly recycle it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Do you even need the stuff you're buying? And you want to call yourself a social justice warrior because you're vegan and you don't eat meat and you don't hurt animals, and because you recycle this and that, but you're prepared to just take things from all over the world, especially here in the West, where you guys don't really have a lot of things to like to yourself, like respectfully, like, hold on. When you're eating all healthy with your goji berries, your avocado toasts, does avocados grow in England? I would like to know. Or do you have to fly them in? Oh, I'm so good now. Like, I'm so glad to be vegan, and I'm so glad to... And again, nothing against veganism. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think there's so many cool vegan communities, like, around the world. And, like, I think that if that's how you want to eat, or that's what's optimal for your health, go for it. But just don't be a freaking ignoramus. Because, like, you know what I would love to happen? I would love for some scientists to discover that alcohol is genuinely actually not vegan. And I want to see how many people remain vegan after that. Because I feel like all caffeine. Because, again, it's all very easy when it's the things that you are comfortable doing. The same way that Christians are like, well, I don't do this and I don't do that and I don't fornicate. I got married at 16. It's like, yeah, and your husband's still cheating on you. Your husband's on Grindr. In 2026, it's not even like he's just cheating on you with some freaking usher at church or his work freaking wife or something. And now he's on Grindr. He's cheating on you with another man and you don't even know about it. Or he's on OnlyFans. And yeah, and you want to be like, oh yeah, and all this, and all this, and all this. And for what? What's supposed to be the achievement there? Like, what's supposed to be the achievement? That's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum things that God expected from us. Literally, like that is the bare minimum. Basic survival and strong relationships between us as men and women. marriage is the bare minimum, and everyone wants to talk about it like it's like they've achieved the Grand Prix or something. Like, what are we talking about? Because of selfishness again. It's like, you don't know what I've done to be in this marriage. I have put, yeah, of course you have, because that's how relationships work, you freaking dummies. They require effort. They require, it's sacrificial, because love is sacrificial. So whenever we don't know where this stuff is coming from. We don't know where the evil, because people are selfish. And as soon as you have to be something outside of selfish, right? It all becomes a big, long thing to have to deal with. Oh, the children. It's like, if the children were that hard, why did you open your legs again and again and again? Like, one child first, you didn't know what you're getting into. I get it. Fourth child down the line. And even the reasons people are having kids. Oh, it gave me a sense of purpose to feel like I had something, just so you could call yourself a parent, just so you can be part of the parental group and call yourself, oh my gosh, so you can all complain together, so you can have an excuse for all your bad behavior, just so that you have somebody to look after you when you're older. Do you know what I realized in this whole process of me trying to get my tubes tied? I can't find one single reason for having children that isn't selfish. I can't find one. I can't find one single reason in continuing the bloodline, pushing off my legacy. You haven't even built a legacy. You don't even have a worthwhile bloodline, but you want to be continuing it. You plan to bring them in just to be like, and that's another thing that annoys me about parents. They'll be like, your kid's like 8, and like, parenting is a thankless job. Sorry that an 8-year-old who you had sex to bring into this world isn't saying thank you every day with their 8-year-old brain to you. Is that all you did? Did you do this for thanks? You shouldn't have done it. This is why I'm saying nobody wants to address the truth, and this is why this is all happening. This is why the world is the way that it is. It's because we as humans are evil. We are evil. We are selfish, which makes us become evil. And all that happens is that the people who are willing to be more and more selfish become more and more evil. And the rest of us, most of us, like the rest of us, the only reason we're not as evil as others is just because we don't want anybody to think of us that way. We can't get away with it. Like, that's why when people are like, billionaires, and they're all just weirdos. No. They can just afford to be whatever level of selfish they want to be. You just can't afford it. If you went around and did weird things, and you went around and did the types of things they were doing, you would get caught. You wouldn't be able to pay off legal fees. You wouldn't be able to pay people off. You wouldn't be able to do it on some island. You can't afford it. So how do you know? Who are you to sit as judge and jury? You're just too broke. That's the reality. You're just too broke. You don't know what you would do. None of us do. And then again, you want to act like, oh, it's because they're billionaires. Shut up. I've heard enough stories now, like, from people about just things that people are being through, where I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I've had enough of people acting like, oh, this is just some small group of people somewhere. No, the small group of people is the remnant of the Lord, the people who are actually dedicated to God, who are actually trying, the people who really received Jesus and who refuse to compromise. Those are the small group. The larger group is everybody else who's just getting away with whatever they can. And lying when you can, justifying everything. Oh, well, I had a good reason because this person did this to me, so I did that. Like, listen, go ahead and justify yourself, but some like, you're supposed to have character. Like, there's little things that I could justify doing, guys, but listen, do I want that for me? Like I said about cheating, I could just there's reasons I could justify cheating, you know what I mean? But it's like, do I want to be remembered? Do I want on Judgment Day, when the Lord is listing all my very many sins and everything I've done wrong about my life, do I want to see the word cheater there? No, I don't. It's a character thing. It's not about whether I can or cannot. It's not about whether what somebody did or didn't do something. So to me, that just sounds like, oh my gosh, I need somebody to lick my wounds because I was hurt, and me, and I. And that's how love is these days. It's me, and I, and it's transactional. I'll offer you this as long as I'm getting that. I'll offer you this because I think I'm getting that. You know what I'm saying? I'll offer you this because I think I'm getting that out. And then it's not even about, nobody even cares about people anymore. They just care about what they can get. Like, oh, I just like somebody that can do this, or can do that. I'm going to do this. I'm looking for somebody to settle down with because I like to start a family. I like to do this and whatever. And then, it's like, okay, are you looking for a person? Are you looking to get to know anyone, like, actually for real, as a real life person? Or are you just looking for a baby making machine? You know what I'm saying? Like, friends, are you looking for actual friends? Like, are you actually looking to be a friend and have a friend? Or are you just looking for people to go to the restaurants you want to go to, take the photos you want to take, go on holidays, and like put out this persona that you're like living life and just have excuses and people to talk to? Like, people are very needy. Like, that's what I've realized, because I'm somebody who tends to be quite quiet, and like, when it comes to talking to people, I tend to ask questions and listen, just because I do really like enjoy doing that, and I really care to get to know everybody. I realize a lot of people, they just want somebody, they just want people and things in their life that just like pleases them individually. And then it's the further you go away from doing that, the less likely anybody's going to be involved. And I say that not even necessarily because of like me personally going through it, but it's more just like I notice how the things that I've benefited in this life from has always been because I of what I offer somebody, if you know what I mean. And I've always done everything out of the fact that I wanted to do it. But I just noticed that like people say to me, like it's like the same thing I say about the older generations being like, I wish my kid was like you, like you're so responsible, you're so this. It's like, but do you know what I put myself through? Like, I regret not having a childhood, like proper childhood, and I regret putting so much pressure on my shoulders. I used to love watching the younger kids who were like not like me, just like kind of just not having not a care in life, you know, and just like enjoying the moment. I put so much pressure on my shoulders to perform because I felt all the pressure of the weight of the world, which was put on me, which I then doubled down on. And you're proud of me because I put all the weight of the world on my shoulders as a child. That's what the truth is. The truth is the older generations were proud of me because I put the weight of the world on my shoulders as a child. If I had lived like a child and enjoyed being a child, I wouldn't have been loved and appreciated in the same way. I was compared to their kids, told to a lot of kids, like, if well, my parents told me they wish I was more like you, I was more like you, more like me. I never wanted to live. I've never wanted to live. I've always felt like everything I did wasn't good enough. And I was always striving for higher because I felt like I had to. And I only got acknowledgement because of putting my literal life on the line constantly and pushing myself through everything as a child. And other children are being encouraged to be like me. I don't want them to be like me. Like, this is why I changed my attitude, because I'm like, I don't want to be, if I'm going to be the example, I got to look different. You know what I mean? I don't want to be an example because this is killing me. I had too many responsibilities. I wasn't like enjoying life. People would say to me now, like, oh, but you're so young, you've got your whole life ahead of you. I'm like, mate, I feel like I've already had a life. I feel like I've had a life. I feel like I've had one. I feel like I've just done so much. I put so much pressure. I don't have the innocence or the excitement of just like, hope. I just have responsibility, doing the right or wrong thing. And then also the right or wrong thing always never benefited me anyway. The only things that benefited me were the things that I actually wanted to do, like when I finally, did the things I wanted to do. And then as soon as I did that, all I would get is backlash. Oh, I know you want to do this, but you should just do that. And it's like, and who does that benefit? Who does that benefit? You want me to, like, I regret going to university because I know that other people, whether in my family or others, younger people felt the pressure because I completed my degree. They had the pressure, and my degree is the number one thing I regret. Like my student loan in particular is the number one thing I regret the most. Like, it just wasn't worth it. Like, it wasn't worth it. And yet that's what everybody wanted. And it was just for people to say, like, it was just like, it didn't mean anything. Like, my degree, my best job is the best money I've ever made has never been because of my degree. But like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, when I say it's selfish, it's like the reason why I was beloved by the adults is because I was highly independent as a child. I've always been very independent. I've always been somebody that minds my business and keeps to myself, entertains myself. I was loved because I was not in need of a lot of things. That's why I was loved. I wasn't loved because I was actually good or because I was appreciated, because anybody actually gave a crap. It was because I was low maintenance. That's the truth. Being low maintenance. So that doesn't require much from people. So like, oh, you're easy to deal with. You're quite low maintenance. So, oh, we love you. We love you. We think you're awesome. And you're low maintenance and you can succeed all by yourself. Albeit not all by myself. But, there were people along the way that really supported it. And that's why I always talk about the people I'm so grateful for, who were actually there to help and like actually had the patience. Because I'm like, wow. And so that's why my story factors into it, because like, yeah, I'm talking from a standpoint of a lot of people were or have or are or whatever proud of me. But it's like, your pride doesn't come from the fact that your pride comes from the fact that I on my own figured a lot of stuff out. Like, even now, they'd be like, look at the woman you become. And then, it will be in the comments and whatever in life, wow, your parents must be so proud of you. That statement is like a stab in the back, you guys. I'm here because I had to do everything I wasn't supposed to do to get me here. Everything I wasn't supposed to do. Everything I wasn't supposed to be. Every time I was told you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, and I still did. That's what worked out. Right? And those times I always did it because I was like thinking of the greater good. You know, I've told you, I've been in so many situations where I'm like in a team setting or in a group setting, and I'm like, guys, we can all just do this. But then one person's feelings get involved and they're offended by something stupid and small, and another person doesn't want to do this. Or people, like a lot of projects I've worked on, like people was asking me, like, you know, this is why again I respect people like the Sidemen and stuff. Excuse me. People be like, how much money am I going to make from doing this? Like, I'll ask somebody like for a favor, like, hey, it'd be something as simple as like what I'm doing now. Like, well, this is one of the main reasons I don't even have, like, it would be really helpful if I actually had somebody to film me, as opposed to filming. So I'll ask somebody like, hey, could you film, like, could I borrow you for like a couple hours just to come and like film me or something? How much are you going to pay me? You know that KSI and Simon, yeah, and the Sidemen, and how KSI started? Simon just used to record KSI because it was his friend. And that's something I will never forget. Like, I will never forget that, because look at them now. He just used to record because it was his friend. And it's like, I've always thought, can we not lock in on the vision? Or do I always have to prove what there is to be given back to you? Can we not just care about each other? Because I've done it. I've volunteered. I've done so much. Like, I helped so many people for free set up their social media, and I'll go to their house day after day, week after week. Here's what you do for production. Here's where you buy the tripod. Here's how you can get a good ring light. I help them for no money at all. You know why? Because I'm invested in the vision. I'm not worried looking back thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I would have charged them. No, I'm not. But like, it doesn't exist, you guys. It doesn't exist. And then I'm like, hey, even when I was in London, like, you know, it'd be cool if there was one other person I could have even simply asked to just come with me, even if I pay for everything. God forbid I ask anybody to do anything. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I realize that people are deeply selfish, but then, you know, it'll be the same people. You know how I know that? Because whenever I've gone through seasons of that, eventually I'll obviously pop off and do the damn thing. And then people be like, oh, I remember one time, something one of my family members said, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget this, right? So one day I was like to my family, I was like, I'm gonna leave the WhatsApp group chat because I just wanted to spend time by myself. I was like, I'm not somebody who's gonna cry and ask everybody for everything. I'll just lock in. I will get in my shell. It's fine. So I said I was gonna leave. I just want to spend some time myself. And then one of my family members says, but we want to be able to say when you succeed that we were there for you. And I'm like, yeah, the reason why I'm leaving this is because you're not there. And it was the same exact group chat when I sent in the photo of me actually winning my trophy. And I was so excited. Is anybody excited? No. It was awkward. Like, every time I ever succeed, it's always awkward. And then the next thing is as well, you know, I had this idea. And I was thinking we could do this. So you didn't respect the whole time. And it always be like the whole time I would tell people in advance, like, about what I'm doing, like people that were close to me. And they would never be the ones showing up or involved. But once they saw it pop off, they're like, oh, I have this idea. And it's like, do you know I could have done with that help before? Do you know that, praise Jesus, that God sent in people who are strangers to decide to help me for no reason? This is why, guys, this is why I believe that the world is of this place that it is. People just are out for themselves. And this is why the world is an evil place. This is why people only care actually about themselves at the end of the day, unless Jesus is truly involved. And I've seen it myself. That's why where I'm at right now, I prayed to God. I told you guys, I said, God, before my next winning season, you better place every person you plan to be in my life here now. Now, while I'm here complaining about being a teacher and this and that and whatever, before it all takes off, place them now, because I'm not going to be opening no doors, by the way, when I succeed. I'm not going to be hearing out anybody. I don't care. I'll face God on Judgment Day. Sometimes I tried to make amends with you after you were already succeeding. I don't care. I'll face God on Judgment Day, knowing that I don't care. Everybody's last chance is now. And this is why I've been doing certain things at the moment, making certain phone calls and confrontations, because this is the last few days, like not in actual days, but like in a metaphorical sense. Because I realized that the world is an evil place. People are just deeply selfish, and most people actually are. Most people only get involved for what they can get out of it. And that's the reality. We've all lived it, we're all living it, and we all know it. We all know that at the end of the day, most people that are around you, they only are there because of what they're getting out of you. And there is the options where people are there for more than that. Like me, I just love people, and a lot of you guys are the same. Those of you who are here, still here after years, you guys definitely love me for who I am. I don't doubt that at all. because there's no way you've been listening to me this long and you're just here for what you can like get out of it, because what are you getting out of it, you know? But that's the reality. So that's why I believe, that's why there's evil in the world, because we will always choose evil. Unless God is involved, who changes our hearts and shows us how to be compassionate and loving and selfless, and we learn the love like Christ had, we're always going to choose selfishness, and selfishness is always going to result in evil. And that's just the reality. So on that note, we conclude the series, guys. I might do a debrief afterwards. I don't know what this is going to go, but I feel like I've said enough in one video to explain, like, this is why, you guys, this is why we choose evil. We choose evil when we choose selfishness, because as long as we're being selfish, somebody else is going to be hurt. If I decide I want to start an empire, my empire means that I have to take over another place where there's people who have loved ones and who have friends and everything and whatever. That's selfish on my part. That's why it keeps hitting this repeat of the cycle I talked about in the previous videos. So we always, humans, why do humans choose evil? Because being human makes us evil, unless we have God, the Spirit of the living God dwelling within us. And on that note, I hope you guys have enjoyed this entire series. If this really is the last video, wow. Please watch from the beginning if this is the first video you're watching, or there's lots to catch up with. Other than that, you guys, I love you guys, I really do. And I make these videos and I make time for it because I know I'm talking to people who understand what I'm talking about. And if whatever I've been through and whatever effort I can make is going to help your life and help you win, that is literally the best ever spending of my time and the most bestest thing I could ever do, because I love you guys and you mean everything to me. And I just hope I can somehow make everything you guys do and your dedication and your time you spend still showing up worth it in the long run. And I'm trying my best. And I'm so thankful. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. You've done the damn thing. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.